Let's go!
Hey everybody, Coach Scott here, and I'm on one of my favorite trails today, and I want to talk to you about sugar because one of our coaches have been asking me about the sugar and maybe do a little repost about sugar and Sugar 101 because it's one of the most common questions that we get asked. So I want to give you a little 101 about sugars and why we recommend the sugars and sweeteners that we do. The first one is refined white sugar. If you've been on LT360 for any amount of time, you know this already, but I declare that white sugar, refined sugar, is public enemy number one. That's right, number one, and I can talk to you more about that in detail later. But refined sugars basically is completely stripped of all nutritional value, and it literally provides only empty, dead calories. And there are more than 65% of our food products that have white sugar. Again, and this is made commercially, and it's made from GMOs, which are genetically modified, and most of the time it's made from what's called sugar beets. So my recommendation is try to limit or avoid refined white sugar at all costs. Interestingly enough, the second one is brown sugar. So commercial brown sugar really is nothing more than refined white sugar with some molasses added back in for color and some flavor. So don't be fooled by this, the color, or even the claims that they make. It's just as bad as white sugar. But the third one, interestingly enough, is what we call evaporated cane juice. And evaporated cane juice is made from sugar cane as opposed to the sugar beets we talked about in white sugar, most white sugar. So evaporated cane juice is slightly less refined than white sugar. So what happens is it retains a little more color, a little more flavor, and slightly a bit more nutrients. But really the only difference between commercial evaporated cane juice and white sugar is that it just goes through one less step of the refinement process. So again, don't be fooled with any of the claims or the marketing ploys about it being natural and organic and all that kind of stuff. Speaking of organic, let's talk about organic cane sugar itself. This type of sugar is definitely less processed than refined white sugar, but it still contains some of the original nutrients present in the cane juice, which gives it a little bit better value in terms of nutritional profile. But these include things like amino acids and minerals and vitamins, and there's even some antioxidants in it as well. But because it's organic, the great news is you won't be exposed to all the pesticides and herbicides and insecticides that are present in commercially grown sugar. So while obviously it's a better choice than the refined white sugar, remember, make no mistake, it's still sugar, and it's still going to break down in your body very similar to the refined white sugar. And again, that's why I try to say limit or avoid these type of sugars. The next one is a little more controversial, coconut sugar. I want to weigh in a little bit on that. Coconut sugar is basically harvested from the sap of the coconut plant, and again, it's got more of a natural process when you extract the juice and then allow the water to evaporate. So there's a little bit less processing, a little more natural, organic processing, if you will. It's one of the most sustainable methods, by the way, of sugar production, and it's very, very popular. And again, the product, this type of sugar also contains a small amount of fiber and other nutrients. So again, if you're looking at just from a scale of 1 to 10 or a hierarchy, if you will, coconut sugar also has a lower percentage of fructose than the other sugars that are listed and the things that I've talked about earlier. But when you're thinking about becoming slightly or healthy, a little bit more healthy, it's the opinion of good to great. Do you just want to be good, or do you want to have some great options? But other than the different types of sugars that we've talked about, there's one sugar that in its raw form contains a highly concentrated dose of vitamins, minerals, and other great nutrients that help nourish, heal, and even repair your body. And I want to talk about honey for a second, because honey, again, that is liquid gold. It is in the Bible. I mean, it contains a concentrated dose of all these vitamins and minerals and nutrients that nourish and revitalize your body. And it possesses a very, very unique antimicrobial property that helps you fight off infections. That's right, honey is amazing. It truly is liquid gold. And by the way, it's the world's only pre-digested food. That's right, the bees have already taken the hit for most of the sugar count. And throughout history, honey has been used to treat things like coughs and wounds and digestive issues, indigestion, skin infections. I've even heard honey, works with fatigue, and I've experienced some of that myself. And even the flu, I've heard people swear by honey helps limit the flu symptoms. Burns, there's all kind of stuff that honey is great for. So don't be fooled by the hype of all the other sugars. Honey is definitely your go-to sweetener. Stevia is also a great option as well. But I want to talk to you a little bit about monk fruit, okay? Because monk fruit and stevia really need to be put in the same conversation. Monk fruit and stevia are what we call non-nutritive sweeteners, which basically means that they have little to no calories, or basically they don't have very many nutrients as well. Both are natural alternatives. I like how I'm in this little cave right here, in this little tunnel. May give me a little acoustic sound right here. But both of these sweeteners are a good alternative, to the refined sugars. And so when you're thinking about things you need to be aware of, you need to understand that when you're talking about stevia or monk fruit, and by the way, monk fruit's a new thing for me to really jump in on. I've watched it for a long time, but you still have to read the labels. When you buy stevia in the grocery store, it's vastly different from the stevia that you grow in your backyard. And stevia and monk fruit sweeteners are definitely better choices than the artificial sweeteners containing aspartame and other synthetic ingredients. But you still have to read those labels, because even though it says stevia or monk fruit, there can be additives in there and synthetics in there. So if you're diabetic, or if you're trying to lose weight the right way and trying to get fat out of your system, make sure that you read monk fruit or stevia product labels carefully, because again, there may be some higher calorie and higher glycemic sweeteners that have been added to that product. So again, just a quick review. Number one, we recommend honey and stevia. And then if you have to go beyond that, I think monk fruit would be your third option. Again, and we just kept it simple. And that's why people say, why don't you add all these other natural sweeteners and things in? Because we just want to simplify things. And the most simple, easiest, and safest true sweeteners are going to be honey and stevia. Throw that monk fruit in occasionally if you need to and want to. There's lots of research out there right now supporting the health benefits of monk fruit as well. So I hope this helps with a little Sugar 101, and I'll see you on the next video. God bless you guys. Take care.